Making money in RuneScape can sometimes be a bit tricky, especially in the early to mid game. OSRS has seen a massive surge of players recently, and I wanted to set a challenge for myself, pretending I am in the shoes of a newer player. So we're going to set 24 hours on the clock and limit myself to money-making methods that the vast majority of players can do. My bank will be cleared and we will start with absolutely nothing. So let's see just how much money we can make in that 24 hours, and the results just might surprise you. I am extremely excited to get started with this video. I think we're gonna make quite a bit of money in 24 hours using just low to mid-level methods. The bank is completely cleared out. We are starting here in the clan portal as always in every single challenge video. So let's start that timer because we're gonna head to our first method. The first method we're gonna do is head down to the Rargh and steal wire. It has a very modest requirement of 44 thieving and the Death of Dorganshun quests completed, but we do need to grab a candle first, and we have no money on the account, so we're gonna have to pick one up here in Rargh. But then it's as easy as just tellying home, entering the crevice underneath the Lumbridge Castle, and walking to the Dorganshun. I figured this was gonna be quicker than using any fairy ring method because we start with absolutely nothing on the account, and this is just a nice free spawn that we can use. Drop the candle. We're not gonna need it. Even if we do need a light source, we can buy a much better one that won't explode in my face. So we're gonna head way south in Dorganshun in this little wire machine area. We're gonna climb up these stairs to the south, back down, and you'll find this wire machine. All you do is click on it. That is it. It is that easy. And to bank, all we do is go up and down the stairs again, run all the way north, use that bank there, bank all the wire, and one inventory, 53K. It says the GE value is 2.6K, so maybe we'll get him at a slight premium here, which would be insane. We're probably gonna get quite a bit, so I don't know if we'll get that price for all of them, but at least it shows the demand is there. I have a slight confession that I need to make. I have the Lumbridge Elite done, which means every time I steal from the wire, I get 2 Cave Goblin wires instead of just 1. Now, anyone who has Lumbridge Elite done probably isn't gonna be doing this method as a money maker, so for the sake of the video, I will be dropping half of the total wire I get because I wanna act as close to a mid-level account as I possibly can. Now, keep in mind, at level 44, you do have a pretty low chance of successfully thieving the wire every time, and it's like a good 5-6 seconds done every time you do get caught. I probably wouldn't recommend it until you're around the 60s to 70 range. As you can see, it goes in the 70% chance of success. And a cool little fun fact, even at 99, you still have a 2% chance of failure. And for the video, I am right here at about a 95% chance. Now, I know my Thieves success rate is gonna be much higher than the average person here. The average person is probably gonna have like 50 to 70 when they come here on that mid-level account. So just bear in mind that while I'm doing this, I'm also banking twice as much as the average person because I'm gonna be dropping half of the Cave Goblin wires that I get. So all that extra banking will definitely eat into my time, just like someone who's 50 to 70 will have a lot of time taken away through all the failures that they get. Now, even though this method increases substantially when you have the diary done as well as a higher thieving level, the main reason we're starting off in this video doing this method is because you need absolutely no items to get started. Anyone with 44 thieving and the Death to Dorganshun quest can come here, start stealing wire, and get straight cash injected into their bank, and you don't have to be here long. We're only gonna be here for 30 minutes. This is just for starter cash. One of the best things about RuneScape is the AFK aspect of it. So why not turn your AFK RuneScape sesh into something a little more efficient? And that is where boot.dev comes in. The smartest and most enjoyable way to learn Python, SQL, and Go programming languages from start to finish. You'll learn to code by actually doing what you do in the workplace, and that's by building real projects. Be part of an online, self-paced learning environment that will feel more like a captivating RPG game than a boring online class. There's XP to earn, achievements to unlock, and quests to complete to get a top spot in the global leaderboards. And coding is no easy walk in the park, so when you get stuck, there is even Boots, your personal AI tutor that's trained in every lesson to help provide follow-up questions and to help nudge you along all of your projects. I know there are people out there that want to unlock the magic of coding. Head down to the description and use my code Rargh to get 25% off your entire first year on the annual plan. It comes with a no questions asked 30-day refund policy, so don't be shy and give it a go. Thank you so much to boot.dev for sponsoring today's video. That is the 30 minutes up. Like I said, I didn't want to be here long. We have plenty of better money makers, but just for sake of experiment, how much did I make in 30 minutes? 700K. But we're only gonna sell half of them, of course. I'm a mid-level player right now. I gotta think like a mid-level player. I gotta be a mid-level player. And you guys definitely would have rat casters done, right? So one of the things about doing weird methods like this is that a lot of the items you get don't have big daily volumes. This one is 15,000. That's part of the reason why the actively traded price isn't always exactly the price that is on the GE. We need to have some patience. Let's try 2,300 because I do need my money now. And let's just see. Oh, it's sold. Fuck patience, never mind. We got 100 house teleports just to maneuver around the world very efficiently. I have pretty much all the teleports in my house, but of course, any mid-level player who doesn't have these teleports, you could just buy all the teleports that I'm using in this video just off the GE from a level 3 account, so shouldn't be any worries there. The next method's requirement is probably the highest requirement in terms of at least time played to have this moneymaker unlocked, and even then, I don't think it's that crazy. It's having the Legends quest complete. It's a really good quest, and starting it is a requirement for Recipe for Disaster, and you're definitely going to want to get Barrow's Gloves at some point if you don't have them already. So make sure you do the Legends quest, even if you don't plan on doing this method. And the next method is absolutely brain dead. We're gonna be buying myth seeds, hopping, buying myth seeds, hopping. They sell for only 300 GP each. By the time you buy all 6, they go up to 324. We spent about 1.8K to get about 10,000 GP in return. And to really speed this method up even more, I have my left click set to trade, and I'm gonna make my left click buy 50. I guess in this case, you could do buy 10. But here's an example of it in the real world. Ready? Watch how quick this is. Boom, 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 boom. I have actually ran into a few people so far. Oh, that's a good example. So when that happens, I usually just skip a few worlds here. I'll even skip the 2K plus worlds to show you that I generally do not have to be going to some special worlds for this method to work. But I usually skip down a few worlds, just kind of snake the guy who was in front, and boom, I'm right back at 6. There's also only a 30-second respawn timer on the seeds, so that means when a world is bought out, it only takes 3 minutes from it to go to 0 to fully stocked again, which does leave plenty of room for multiple people to do this method with ease. We're coming up on an hour mark, not an hour of this method, just an hour in the challenge. 1.4 mil. Guys, I think I'm gonna be buying mithril seeds for a little bit because our net worth is about to skyrocket. I was trying to figure out why I wasn't buying out the rest of the shop. I'm out of money. I blew through that 372K. Well, we're gonna go to the GE, chuck it all, and hopefully it all sells pretty quickly because I think the volume is very high on these, so I'm not too worried, but we do need more money to continue doing this method. We're gonna chuck it in middle price. I would try to normally bump it up a little bit, but I do need money to continue doing this method, and it all just sold instantly. Oh my gosh. Let's go. We just passed the hour mark of mithril seed shop farming. And let's see how much we've made. So we started with 428K net worth. What? Okay, let's find the exact amount real quick. I can take 2 seconds to do this. 2583 minus 428, 2.15 mil GP per hour, just buying mithril seeds and hopping. This is, I'm genuinely beyond flabbergasted at how easy and simple and good this method really is. I just wanted to pop in for a quick sec and give a little disclaimer before we go on. Many of these methods that I show will always be prone to fluctuate in profit per hour, especially when someone like me uploads a video on it and multiple new people are trying out the methods. I will try as many methods as possible to show how easy it is to make money without being reliant on just one single method, and sometimes it takes a bit of trial and error to really find out what works well. If you need some inspiration, check out the RuneScape Wiki money making list. There is a ton on there, and that's actually how I got most of my methods for this video. But all right, let's get back to the video because I know that's what you guys are here for. It's been about 3 hours here at the flowers now, 3.5 hours in the challenge. Let's do a little price check. Throw up everything over 7 million GP. on the account in 3.5 hours. It's just funny to think about that I could honestly stay here for the whole 24 hours and this challenge would be an absolute success, but we are going to try some new methods. Let's do 25 more minutes of this, wait till there's 20 hours left on the clock. We'll sell the seeds and we'll move on, but I'm really loving this method. 20 hours left on the clock and 4,492 mithril seeds. I do need the cash now for the method that I want to be doing. So let's just try to do exactly mid-price that it's actively being traded for. Oh no, we're going to wait a few minutes, see what happens. Normally, I'd say just let them wait. I dropped it 5 GP just so I can get some cash right now because the next method we're going to do, we're going to be using all of the 7 mil cash and we're going to be buying some implings. The next method we're going to do is buying impling jar generators and taking all of the impling jars we can get out of those and then noting them all in puro. You can do it insanely fast and we need 3 essence implings, 2 eclectic implings, 1 nature for 1 impling jar generator. That's why I have a 3:2:1 ratio here. So as soon as these sell, we're going to take them all noted, bring them to puro, and just start cashing in for an insane amount of profits. I'm pretty sure the only requirements for this method is 17 hunter because technically you can get to puro outside of Xanaris if you find one of the crop circles around Gillinor in a wheat field. Of course, there's the infinite one in Xanaris, so I recommend just having Lost City done for the ease of convenience. You should definitely always have that quest done for the Dragon Longsword and the Dragon Dagger anyways. So this is how the method works. I did it a few times to really get the hang of it. We're going to trade Elnock. Buy 1 jar generator. You can only have 1 at a time. Just absolutely spam the living daylights out of it. It's going to take all the jars out, exchange, put them inside his little storage that he has, spam it again until it's nearly finished. Now, you're left with 1%. You actually need 3% or 3 charges to take out an impling jar. As you can see, there's a butterfly jar option, so you could take it out that way. I think the quickest way is just to trade again, buy another. It asks for a recharge instead of a new one, which in this case is effectively the same thing, and then just keep spamming it. Exchange. I have it set as my left click option to make it much quicker, and just keep doing that. When it's all out, trade again, buy another, recharge it, and just keep spamming away. Now this is insanely click intensive and a lot of people are probably thinking this isn't worth it. This is the total cost as of right now to get a jar generator. Let's round up to 16K. We can get 33 impling jars per jar generator. And if we come down here to the exchange, 33, 27.7K. So with just plugging in the numbers, you can see right here on the wiki how much profit we can actually make per jar, and you saw just how quickly we can actually pull the implings out of each jar. Now the slight annoying thing is he can only hold 1,000 jars, but we can just right click, hit banknotes, and they all just get noted in your inventory. We just take the portal out, bank. This is why we want Lost City done. Nice convenient banking. We just throw them in the bank, run back, and continue the process. The first hour is up. We're on our way to the bank. We're going to check how much we've made in the first hour as well. Now, keep in mind, we did spend some of this hour buying the implings and learning how to click efficiently because it's very click intensive. All right, so rounding up, not including the teleport to house, we had a net worth of 7.8 mil. Oh, that's a lot better than I thought, considering this hour was definitely a little scuffed. With current prices, this is easily a 2 mil an hour method, assuming you're not constantly going back to the GE, and assuming you also kind of know what you're doing and at least have an hour under your belt to really get efficient at all the clicks, because it definitely takes some getting used to. There's a lot of clicking involved, and you're clicking the wrong things sometimes, and it's just muscle memory once you finally get it down. That is all the implings gone, guys. We're gonna finish up this 1 jar generator, and let's quick withdraw. Oh, it doesn't note them. That's actually the first time I tried to use that. Okay, so we won't do that. Let's bank note it. We're gonna buy more. I feel like we are just getting in the rhythm of really getting this down. I'll be honest, I don't really know how much more I have in me because of how insanely click intensive this is, but let's go liquidate, buy more imps, and head on back. These are pretty high volume items, so I'm not worried they're not gonna sell. It looks like they're actually going up in price a little bit. I do want them to sell because we need to spend the money to make more money here. Let's try 860 and they all instantly sell. Oh my gosh. What is our bank value going to be at? Put everything in. 11.4 mil, the green stack already. We're not even 6 hours into this challenge. Just like the first time around, we're going with 300 more impling jar generators, so about an hour and a half-ish of work to get these all done. We had to buy them a bit above the normal medium price in the GE, but since impling jars are also on the rise, I figured screw it, let's just get this done, waste no time, and then also sell the impling jars above the normal GE price right now. All right, this is the last of all 300, so we're gonna wrap this up and then head on over to the GE. 9,900 impling jars is pretty crazy. Looks like it's still going up a bit. Let's try 849 and see if that sells. All right, well, let's get ready for the next method and see if it sells in that time. We got some very cheap gear for the next method. As you can see, we do have some God Wars dungeon items. Now, I don't think we'll need Bando, so I'm gonna skip out on that one for now. But the two things that we really need for this method is some sort of crossbow, bronze will be fine, and a mithril grapple. And it's quite funny because that item is gonna be a big part into why we're even doing this method in the first place. Oh, and check this out. All that sold in just a few minutes. This is the new price check. Let's just take everything off, even though everything I'm wearing is only like 20K. 14.7 mil. Now, the method that we're going to be doing is going to the Armadyle's Eyrie in God Wars dungeon and looting mithril grapples from a crate. If you don't have any on your character, you get a free mithril grapple every time you search the crate. And because of that, we're going to be getting a full inventory and having to telly to God Wars dungeon a lot. So to get the best rates, you definitely want to get yourself a Gommel's Hilt 3 for unlimited teleports. Now, I know not all mid players have the hard achievement diary done. These are going to be the best rates that you could get doing this method with the Gommel's Hilt, but you definitely can teleport to Trollheim or Troll Strongholds. But just know that if you use those methods, it's not going to be as quick as using the Gommel's Hilt. So we're going to dip south as soon as we come in the God Wars dungeon and head to the Armadyle's Eyrie, and we're going to use the mithril grapple to get over there. You do need 70 range for this method, but 70 range these days, very mid-game. If you're really that lazy, you can go to Gemstone Crabs and easily get it in honestly under a few days. Here's where we came in. We're gonna come over to this crate right over here, take off the mithril grapple, drop it, search the crate, drop it, search the crate, and keep doing that till you have a full inventory on the ground. I'm actually gonna come to the settings and turn off NPC attack options to hidden so I don't accidentally attack an Avianzi. I'm not actually going to attack it, but I don't want it to knock me out of position. So let's redrop these. I want to change that really quick. Then when we have 29 on the ground, we're going to pick them all up. Make sure you wield one to fit them all in the inventory and the quiver, and then teleport to Castle Wars and just bank. So it looks like one inventory does take about 2 minutes, and that's everything. Walking here from the Trollheim teleport, looting all of the mithril grapples, and telling back to the bank. And every single trip, you're going to be getting 46K. Make sure to world with good ping as well, because those first few clips there, I was actually struggling to really find the groove, and it's because I was clicking too quick while in a UK world. You want to make sure you're utilizing every tick here and not wasting any clicks. After this inventory here, it would have been an hour of mithril grapples. I'm a little nervous it's not going to be as good as the other methods, but it is a lot more relaxing, a lot more chill, and you know what? That goes a long way with moneymakers, because then you're prone to do it for longer and not give up as quickly. And we are so close to 1,000. I bet 1,000 is possible an hour. My first 10 minutes were so beyond scuffed, just trying to get the hang of it. I'm gonna say this is like 1.7 mil an hour if we're really, really locked in. It was really bad my first 10 minutes. So it turns out you could actually drop and loot the crate in the same tick if you're quick enough. It's very click intensive. I don't know if I'll do this every single inventory, and maybe I'll switch back and forth, because man, I mean, doing it for an hour straight is quite intensive on the wrists. I'm gonna make this the last inventory. There is exactly 13 hours on the clock, which means we've been doing this for about 3 hours and 37 minutes. We have a lot of these in the bank, so let's grab them all and head to the GE and see what we got. And the total amount is 3,750 because we have one on. Let's note these, take them all out. Oh man, they're gonna sell for like 1.5K-ish each, so you guys could totally do the math. Now, the trading volume on mithril grapples isn't very high. And it looks like they're going down in price a little bit as well. They only sell about 16,000 a day. So I'm not expecting to dump all of this and getting all the money right here, right now. I see the actively traded price is going down. Let me try 1620. And I'll just keep it in there. and we'll go on to the next method, and we'll see if these start selling at all. As you can see, though, 6 mil, if it sells for that, 6 mil on top of the 14.6 mil, we have a 20 mil bank. And the first grapple sold. It's probably going to take a bit, but they are going to sell. They will sell for this price. It is the next morning. We just woke up, nice fresh day, and the grapples are just nearly sold. But we have a new method coming up, and for this one, we're gonna need more Ring of Duelings, and we're gonna need some stamina pots. I really don't know how many I'm gonna need. These are dirt cheap. Let's just buy 40. We can always sell any excess we have, and some stamina pots. These will cost a little bit, but we're not gonna be going through them that quick. Let's just buy 30. Let's do the method as quick as possible. We're gonna start with 2 mil in the inventory and have our left click set to Castle Wars. This is where all the action is gonna be taking place, between Castle Wars and where you do the Zogre Flesh Eaters quest. We're gonna be buying relicym bombs. I really hope I'm saying that right. It's kind of a tricky word for me to pronounce. I don't know why. It doesn't even look that hard to pronounce. But we're gonna be coming to this shop over here, and he has 100 in stock. Let's see how much the price actually goes up. And in the meantime, left click, boom, buy 50. Does go to 308. I don't know if we'll hop worlds every time. I think I might. But that's honestly it, guys. This method is incredibly simple. It's just a run to the shop, buy and bank and rinse and repeat. Make sure you are drinking those stams so you don't run out of run energy. It definitely is worth the cost. I do have Uglug marked because he's got a little circle on his stomach, just like Grish, and I kept getting confused. But left click trade, left click buy 50, and a left click teleport. The requirements for this are just as easy as the method itself. You need completion of the Zogre Flesh Eater quest, and then upon completion, you actually have to use a relicym bomb on Uglar, and that you can just buy from the GE, or you can make it yourself. And then once you use it on him, he'll actually sell it to you for a price depending how many doses are in it. And then you have access to the shop and unlimited amount of times. So I've been going back and forth whether it's better to hop every single time I buy from the shop or do 2 inventories worth before I end up hopping. I can actually do a whole inventory in 23 seconds, but every time I hop, that becomes 30. It's about 30% slower, and with current prices, I make about 30% less on my second inventory if I choose not to hop. So it looks like it about breaks even. Now, this is always subject to change depending on the current prices. I'm factoring in a 4-dose being about 820. I'm trying to lowball that a little bit. But I'm deciding to go with the more simpler approach of just hopping every single time because I can make the same amount and have to sell less bombs at the end of it all. And the less I have to sell, the better, because these might take also a few hours to sell, just like the mithril grapples did. We're hopping for our last inventory in the first hour. We started around 12:57 on the clock. So I am going to note these, exchange them into 4 doses, sell them, and see how much profit we turned out. I just want to make sure this is a decent method before we keep doing it. We did get 2970. I just drank 2 doses by mistake, but hey, that actually gave us a perfect amount of 4 doses, and the mithril grapple sold. But let's focus on this first. It looks like the actively traded price is the GE price. I don't think they're gonna sell that quick at all, but we will just keep them in the GE, and we'll see if they sell relatively quick. So including the 2% tax we have to pay, if they all sell for the price that I just put them in the GE for, and some just sold. Yes, I was getting a little nervous that they wouldn't actually start selling. But if they all sell for that price, it comes out to 1.1 mil an hour. And I know I could speed this up a little bit. I can be quicker. There is 10 hours left in the challenge, and I'm gonna make this my last inventory, which means we've been doing this for just shy of 3 hours. I'm gonna sell everything to the general store, and we're gonna go on to our next method. So let's decant all of these into 4 doses, 4,333, and it looks like about half of those sold. Let's take out these grapples. Oh man, I don't know why that's actively traded down so much, because these have been continuing to sell over the course of those 2 hours. So I might just put them in for the same price of 852. It's going to take a bit to sell, but there's still 10 hours on the clock. I just did some quick math. If all of these sell for the price they were in the GE for, it means that in those 3 hours, we made 3.2 mil. Definitely far from the best methods we had in this video, but it was incredibly chill to do. And the price of the bombs definitely fluctuate, and sometimes they could be selling for more and you could make more money. Just definitely check the price before you start doing this method though. And we basically have 18 mil cash plus 5.5 mil, so 23.5 mil in net worth right now after 14 hours of mid-level methods. And since we have so much disposable cash right here in front of us, we're gonna try a method that I've never tried, but I hear it's pretty good. Let's buy, oh, I can't buy 500. Okay, can we buy 450? I'm gonna just dump my bank into it. I don't know. Let's do 39,800. Can I get them all? I can. Fuck. I was about to abort, but it looks like they're starting to sell. It's only one, but it means at least that's a fair price. So hopefully, yeah, it's just like that. They're gonna slowly start coming in. We just need like 5 and we can start opening them, and hopefully they'll keep selling as we're opening the chest. So they don't all need to sell at once, but we need at least 5 to get the method underway. I didn't want to dip into these funds, but we need to buy things like Ring of Duelings and House Teleports, because the amount I have in the bank definitely isn't going to be enough. All right, so we have a bronze scimitar to cut the web. It's just the first cheap weapon that I can think of. I don't want to bring a knife because that wastes an inventory slot. We are going to use the house method to replenish my run and then use my Xerix Talisman in my house. I get that most people aren't going to have this setup. In that case, just use a normal Xerix Talisman. I'm just not using it because it's untradeable and I'd have to go and get one from scratch challenge. It makes no sense to do that, but every mid-level player should have one. So just use your Xerix Talisman and just bank using Ring of Duelings, just like I'm doing. Now, the only requirement you need for this entire method is 57 thieving, and that's because you have to pick lock this door to get in. So let's do a little price check on our 5 keys, 198k. We're gonna be getting a lot of these egg potatoes and sharks, and to be honest, I'm gonna be dropping a lot of them. I think the main reason for that is, even though I'm sacrificing some GP per key, I'm hoping that with the more keys I can open per hour, it will lead to higher profit. Wait, did we lose 10k? All right, second trip, we have 2 crystal keys. This has to be better. This has to be better. No? I'm so confused. What am I doing wrong? Okay, third trip's the charm. I think it's certain key items that really add to the profits and will ultimately make this whole thing profitable. Like, look at this inventory, 344k because we got 2 Snapdragon drops. Oh, I think we just got the big ticket drop, the Dragon Arrow tips. And what I normally do is I keep dropping all the food as it comes in, and then with all the remaining inventory spots, I fill up with sharks. I don't even bother combining doses or anything because I think that takes too long. But ooh, okay. That's the most expensive drop we can get. It's 1 in 50. I am genuinely shocked. Apparently, the average key nets you 14k more than the price of the key itself. So that means every key we open, we should be netting 14k as long as we have a big sample size to choose from. And I think 450 is a big enough sample size to get close to this average. And I think we can open up well over 100 an hour, if I'm being honest. Now, I am leaving some food on the ground, so it's probably more like 12k on average we'll be getting. But even then, oh, this might be really good. A new 5-key record, 458k. So it doesn't matter if you lose some on some trips, as long as you get the big ones occasionally, you're golden. I love how every single time I do a 1-hour test, it's like 5 minutes in the hour because I have to spend the initial 5 minutes setting up, which I guess does count as part of the hour, but also if you're set up properly for a method, you should only have to set up once. But that's 150 keys in the first hour. I took everything out of my bank tab that isn't loot from the grubby key. We opened up exactly 150. I'm gonna round up and say 40k each per key. That's 6 million, so that means our total loot, even with leaving a lot of food on the ground, we profited 1.86 mil in that 1 hour. This is going to be the last of the 450 keys. We're able to do the next 300 much faster than the first 150. You definitely just get in the groove of it. But let's sell it all and see how much money we made. All the relicym bombs are also sold, so let's just see our total net worth before we sell anything. Throw that in there. 30 mil is actually crazy, and there's still 7 hours on the clock. We want to get the biggest bang for our buck here, so we're going to combine all of our doses to 4 doses and just GE dump. I'll probably type all the items in for the actively traded price, and anything that doesn't instantly sell, we'll just keep in there as we buy more grubby keys because I really want to do this method again. I think this is going to make our bank go nuclear during this challenge. We have 24 mil in cash, so naturally we're going to spend 23.5 mil buying 600 grubby keys. Looks like they're dropping a bit, so I'll put them in for 39k and hopefully they start to sell. And it looks like they are starting to sell already, which is always good news. We're at the 5-hour mark, and I wanted to give you guys a little update on how things are looking. These chaos runes honestly were not for me. I don't know how they got there. I did pick them up and then drop them, but I really have no idea. You can't even get chaos runes from the chest, so it was a bit weird. But the main update I really want to share with you all is that 2 hours ago, when we just bought the 300 keys, we were at 30 mil flat. We're at 34.8 mil now. If we take that, divide it by 2, that is 2.4 mil an hour. An hour. And this is the last inventory here. That is all 600 keys done. Let's see how we did on the last inventory there. 276k, not bad. Bank all of our loot. 38 mil flat in the bank tab. Let's go sell the loot. So it looks like after all is said and done, we are only at 37.5 mil. We lost some money on those transactions there. I shouldn't say lost money. We just made a little less than we thought we were gonna do, but that's the nature of the beast sometimes. But I'm addicted to this method. I think it's by far my favorite. I'm gonna buy 200 more and then I'm done. And then I'm moving on, I swear. I think this is a new record. This is our best one yet per 5 key inventory. I have a very bad habit of price checking almost every inventory. I don't know. I just get that dopamine rush and it keeps me motivated, even though it's definitely slowing me down a little bit. Of course, on my last inventory, I can't find this fucking super strength. So, I mean, I'm wasting so much time. I don't recommend doing what I'm doing. There probably is some rune light setting I can do to make that spawn on top. But yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. The good thing about this method is the quickness of it, and you just want to get as many inventories as possible. And we lose money on our last inventory. Let's go sell everything. 2 hours and 10 minutes on the clock. I do want to show you guys real quick the total amount of loot that we've got. Now, of course, all the egg potatoes ended up on the ground, or at least the vast majority of them. Most of the sharks ended up on the ground, and I'm not getting the exact price that you see up here in the price checker, but we spent, rounding up to 50 mil in keys, and you can see the total loot that we've got. I mean, subtract like 3 mil or so from that, but it is still insane profit in those 8 hours. And to wrap up the grubby keys, all the loot sold. Let's take the 11 mil, chuck it in the bank. 41 mil flat. Wow, that was a good last 200 keys there. It fluctuates quite a bit, but even the worst hour is still a really good hour. This might not be the smartest thing that I've done in a video, and I want to caution anyone following along on this video and finding methods to do that what I'm about to do is a bit risky, but I'm not going to be bringing and risking all 250 keys at once. I just want to go out with an absolute bang in this video. So let's open up some Larran's keys. And they're starting to sell. There's a slight part of me that was hoping they wouldn't, but apparently you can make really, really, really insane money doing this method, and I really wanted to test, and now is as good as a time as ever. So we took the 44 obelisks to get up here. We have a stand pot and 5 keys. I might risk more in future trips. I just want to get the feel for it. The crazy thing about this method is you could stack them. You can have an infinite amount in your inventory and open the chest and get the most insane GP per hour, but that obviously comes with the risk of dying because you're in the wilderness and you're stacking a lot of keys, and that's a lot of money. So again, we'll start with 5. We might bump it up to 8 or 10. The Larran's chest, the big one, and you definitely want to open up the big one, is right here. There's a shipwreck, and we're going to be banking in the Mage Arena Bank. So it's a very high traffic area. It's right next to another PK hotspot, the Wilderness Agility, but it is as easy as taking a few keys, coming up this ship's ladder, and unlock the Larran's big chest. And you get an assortment of loot, and this is where you get the famous Dagon High from. I forgot to price check how much 5 keys were, but that was 582k. All right, did we profit on the first inventory? No. It's like the grubby keys all over again, man. All right, well, fingers crossed. Wish me luck. The big chest is notorious for getting Dagon High pieces. Each piece is 1 out of 256. There are 3 pieces, which means every key pulled, there is a 1 in 85 chance I'll get any of the 3 pieces. Now, I don't think profit, like, look at that. Ooh, that's also a really good chest. I can't just sit here and, and fangirl over my loot. I gotta make sure I loot and get out as quick as possible. But as I was saying, I don't think the Dagon High is totally reliant on turning a profit here. Like, I think this chest, yes, wow. Decent profit on that chest right there. And that's only 5 keys. But this is where you get stuck in that trap, because then you want to bring 10, then you want to bring 15, and it takes one PKer to just ruin your day. That one chest was 487k, followed by 213k chest. It's funny, I lost like 250k in the chest prior, so it really does fluctuate a lot. I'm gonna pick up the pace a little bit. We're gonna do 10 in inventory because it looks like at this rate, I can only open up about 150 an hour, and I don't know, that just doesn't really seem quick enough when Dagon High is 1 out of 256 itself. So this effectively makes it twice as quick. I mean, yes, I'll be opening up 5 more keys, but the bulk of the length of the trip is obviously walking to and from the chest. Holy shit, raw manta rays, 205 of them are 753 GP each. This inventory is stacked. Now keep in mind, this is 10 keys. It is just like the grubbies, where most of the trips you lose money, but then you have that one trip that you just make a mil. When I find the current GE price, it actually says over 800k. That just doesn't seem right. What's going on with raw manta rays? There's actually a 1 in 20 chance of rolling the fish drop table. It does say brimstone chest up here, but it is the exact same calculations on the brimstone as it is for the Larran's big chest. But the higher level fishing you have, the more likely you are to get the rarer fish, the manta ray, the sea turtles, and the sharks. Those are the real profit drivers. And the chance of tuna, especially, because I think this is the real killer here, just absolutely plummets. The wiki says 70 is recommended. I don't really know how they got this number specifically, but it looks like that this is the crossover point between the sea turtles and the tuna. So I'm not really sure of the lowest, most optimal level to start doing the Larran's keys, but just know that is what the wiki stating. I like to think if you get some Dagon High pieces, this doesn't really matter as long as you're not like one fishing. Dragon fruit tree seeds, 858k. Another big one, another big loot. Add that to the list of items we want. There are 50 keys left in the bank, which means we've opened exactly 200 keys. And in that time, we have not hit the drop rate of the average of 1 in 85 for a Dagon High piece. I'm not getting lucky, but we have a few keys left, so we're not down for the count just yet. But we're down to the last 10 keys, so fingers crossed, everybody. Let's hope that we get something good. Any piece, even if it's the hat, I will take. I'm just desperate to turn a profit at this point. 5 keys left. Come on, some good keys, some good keys, some good keys. 1 key left. A redwood, 16k. Oh, wow. Wow. Wow, that really just killed my mojo in this episode. Wow. I have all the loot in my inventory except these shark lures. They're 65.7k. I just can't fit them. I think they're the cheapest thing in here, but I could be wrong. Either way, it's not worth much. Let's go to history. We spent 33.9 mil on the Larran's keys. With 0 pieces of Dagon High, do 250 keys come to a profit? They do? I profited? I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I did because the GE value went down in my bank and I'm gonna have to pay the 2% tax on all this stuff, so wish me luck selling it all. The only item that's being stubborn right now and not selling is pure essence. Saying actively traded price is 3. I might just keep it in for 3 for the last hour. Yeah, we lost 900k. I do want to pull up the Larran's big chest calculator on the wiki, which gives you a rough estimate of how much money you'll make in an hour. So we did 250 an hour, so I put that in. Says we should make about 2 mil. Look at the odds of getting these items in that 1 hour, and we didn't get one. So I was very, very wrong about what I said earlier in the video, where I don't think the Dagon High is dependent on profit, but it absolutely is dependent. If we even got just 2 pieces, even if it was the 2 worst ones, we would have profited. You know, I think there's actually a very important lesson to be learned here, and it's that you can't expect to get everything on your first go. Yes, the expected value is to get a set of Dagon High in your first hour, but clearly, with some bad RNG, that's not going to work. Over the long run, if I was doing it for 6, 7 hours, I would have had unlucky hours, I would have had very lucky hours, and the RNG generally will balance out the longer you do something. Unfortunately, I can't send a second hour. I would love to, but there's a limit of Larran's keys of 250 every 4 hours, and this was just a Hail Mary. I didn't plan on actually wanting to do them, but the grubby keys work so well, and I was like, you know what, let's try the Larran's keys as well. I was in a chest opening mood, and you guys can clearly see I want to spend my last hour buying mithril seeds. I'm stressed being in the wilderness that last hour, and I needed something really chill and very reliable, so here we are. So let's see how much money we can make in the last hour and go out really strong and help make up for that 900k deficit we just had to consume. All right, so that is going to be the last hop. We have 1,547 mithril seeds in the last hour. Let's go to the GE. Let's sell it off and collect our total profit. Looks like they're going down in price a little bit, and oh no, you have to sell. I don't recommend doing this. I just gotta get him out. I gotta get him out of my possession. And let's also lower this down quite substantially, or one GP that is. We made 1.8 mil from 57 minutes on the clock to right now, and let's collect. Selling all the leftover stuff that we didn't end up using. We can't sell that. The bronze simi, that doesn't matter, only 36 GP. And we're left with 41.9. Can we just round up? 42 mil. We've got 42 mil in 24 hours. Oh my gosh, what a wild ride. If there is one takeaway I want you guys to have for this video, it's that it is not hard to make money in RuneScape. Even as a low to mid-level player, it is not an excuse. I used 6 different methods. It might have actually been 7 if you include the failed Larran's keys, which I do think you'll make money in the long run if you kept with it. So even with getting unlucky in certain aspects, but not getting any piece of Dagon High and going way under the drop rate for the dragon arrowheads on the grubby keys, we still did get some solid profit. Go out there and go and make some money. I'll see you all in the next one.